Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. If you like older Japanese sport motorbikes, you are in the right place. Today I'll be doing a static review of my Suzuki Katana 750. This motorcycle is also known as Suzuki GSX750F in Europe and some other countries. The Katana moniker for these motorcycles are mainly used in North America. It should not be mixed up with the original Katana that came out in 1981, and those Katanas don't have a close relationship with these Katanas. These Katanas in North America, they are based on the GSX750, the first generation one. For example, the engine comes from that. It's a detuned version of GSX750, the first generation motorcycle. Of course, the chassis and all the riding dynamics is very different. This motorcycle can be called more like a sport tourer. It's a very comfortable and with a fairly upright riding position. And it's not as agile as GSXRs, but again, you can probably ride this all day long. A couple years ago, with my friends, we did a 600-mile round trip to Vermont through the windy mountain roads, and I was fine. I mean, riding after 600 miles, I mean, the butt starts hurting a little bit, but my neck was fine, and it is doable. So unlike the sport motorcycles, I will call this one a sport touring motorcycle. My Katana 750, this one is 1993 model, and it is a rare blue color with some green and metallic gray graphics on it, and I love it. It's just I haven't seen another one on the road so far, so this is the only blue 1993 Katana I have seen. It's a very rare color, and I picked it up a couple years ago from Long Island in New York. So here's the story. Late 1980s were the years I became infected by the motorcycle virus. I did not have a motorcycle at that time, but I used to go to all motorcycle meets around my area. Katana 600s and 750s were very popular sport motorcycles back then, and they made a great impression on me. A few years later, I ended up buying my first motorcycle, a 1990 Honda CBR600F, but I always had a yearning to own one of these Katanas ever since. A few years ago, in 2016, I started searching for a well-maintained, low-mileage and clean Katana 750. I found this blue one on eBay. It was located about 250 miles south of Boston in Long Island, New York. It looked extremely clean in the pictures and only had 8,989 miles on it. There was a video of the startup and walkaround that the owner has posted on YouTube. I knew I was taking a risk, but I placed a bid and won. 2 days later, I rented a car one way, drove down to Long Island, dropped off the car, picked up the motorcycle and rode it back to home. It turned out to be in excellent shape for its age. Anyway, enough storytelling. Let's continue with the review. When I got it, it had around 9,000 miles on it, and it was remarkably clean, and I kept it like that. Actually, I improved on a couple things. At this point, as of February 2020, it has almost 12,000 miles on it, so probably I put only about 3,000 miles since I have multiple motorcycles that I ride. And it has some scratches, if you look at the bodywork, you can see now there are some scratches, but there are no broken tabs. So I'm assuming that these scratches are due to some low speed, even maybe driveway fallovers. The motorcycle just being dropped on its side. So, and it can be touched up or repainted, but I didn't want to change its original paint, so I just buffed it up as much as I can. And the rest, like the tank, you know, sparkly clean. It's very clean areas everywhere. And when I purchased this, it had aftermarket like a little blinkers in the front, so I replaced them with the original ones. I like the original ones. So these are the, you know, rubbers that hold, close that gap. And there's one on the right hand side is missing, and this is getting old. I have new ones. I purchased new ones. I didn't have a chance to put them on, but once I put those on, these are going to look very clean and nice. And some other changes I made. I replaced the original windscreen. It's a zero gravity screen. This is the smoke colored one. And I still have the original windscreen, and it's really clean. So here is the original screen in the front, and I just wrapped it up so it doesn't get scratched in our basement storage. Anyway, now here it is. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the original Suzuki. And it has some minor scratches that I buffed out using, you know, plastic polish. And I can, any day I can just put it back. And also with the zero gravity, I purchased these anodized blue screws to hold it in place. So I think they give a little bit of flair to this. And other than that, it's mostly stock. You know, one disadvantage of these motorcycles, when they are cold, because they are oil and air cooled, they are very cold-blooded. So if it is a cold morning and you start it up, you have to keep it on the choke for like 5 to 10 minutes, and after that they are fine. But once they warm up, they have a really flat area between 4,000 to 6,000 RPM. So around here, if you're on high gear like 4th, 5th, 6th gear, and you open the throttle, it hesitates for a second, and I hated that. Every time I was trying to pass a car or truck, it was hesitating, and it was making me nervous. So I ended up buying a jet kit, just the little jets for the carburetors, and replaced the original stock ones with the lowest spec jet. So that was made for, you know, standard air filter, no changes to the exhaust system, no changes to the engine, and it made such a big difference. Now it doesn't hesitate, it just pulls all the way from 2000 to up to its red line. Usually I don't take it to the red line, but the red line on this one is 12,500 RPM. Here is the jet kit I bought. The brand is Dynojet. Good thing about this kit is it comes with many jets, not just one single, but you can just try different ones to get the best response. For example, if you have installed some low resistance air filter, like free flow air filter, or change the exhaust system, you can play with different jets to make it run at its best. This model, Katana 750, was introduced in Japan in 1988, and it was preserved the way it looks, the way it performed, up until 1997. In 1998, the second generation was introduced. In terms of appearance, the bike was completely redesigned. However, the changes to the engine and the chassis were minor. And also they replaced the wheels with the newer ones. So these are the older style, you know, higher profile, narrower tires. The rears are 17-inch wheels and 150/70 tires, and then in the front again 17-inch wheels, and these are 110 to 80, I believe, over here. And in the second generation they made the wheels wider, and they used a lower profile and wider tires on it. As I mentioned, the engine on this motorcycle is based to the first generation engine on GSX750 that came out, I believe, 1986 or 87. It is an
air oil cooled 748cc engine. And you are looking here, this is not a radiator, this is an oil cooler, so it cools the engine oil. And you can see from the side the block has these cooling fins. Unlike the water cooled ones that are smooth, this has the cooling fin because oil and air cooled. The stock exhausts are 2-in-1 exhaust on both sides. I like this look, so I haven't replaced it with 4-in-1 style sport exhaust. I like these. And the right two cylinders are fed to the right hand exhaust, and then the two left cylinders are fed to the left hand exhaust. The braking system consists of two front brakes, dual disc brakes in the front, and a single disc brake on the rear. According to the factory specifications, this engine produces 106 horsepower at 10,500 RPM. Now, it is not a light motorcycle. It is quite heavy. Dry weight is 461 pounds or 209 kilograms. And however, the engine has quite a bit of torque down bottom. So from 2,500, 3,000 RPM, it just picks up and goes. So it is a great motorcycle to be riding on the highway or even the city on a faster city streets, because it has so much low end torque. So it just picks up and goes. And that also makes this a great touring motorcycle, sport touring motorcycle. The ride height is, the seat height, 31.1 inches. I am about 5'10", and I'm 160 pounds. And when I sit on this, it's quite comfortable for me. I mean, I'm just sitting straight up and then my hand just reaches like this. So I have to lean just slightly in order to grab the handlebars. On the instrument cluster, the speedometer and tachometer are large and easy to read. The mirrors are not great, but they do an okay job to see behind. So most of the time when I'm riding, part of the mirror shows my elbows on both sides, but if I adjust a little slightly in, I can see the cars behind me as well. I may have to just lean to the right or left a little bit. It's not great, but it's workable. Up until today, I haven't started the motorcycle for about 3.5 months. What I did before putting it in the garage was fill up the tank all the way with fresh gasoline and add some fuel stabilizer to it, and just run it so the fuel stabilizer got into the carburetor floats. And after that, I connected it to a trickle charger. I highly recommend everyone who are not riding year round to install these cables to the battery and run it to the side so they can easily connect and disconnect the battery tender or something like that, trickle charger. So it keeps the battery at full charge at all times. This is the battery charger, trickle charger that I use on my motorcycles. So this one is green. This is connected to my Suzuki Katana 600. And this one is blinking because right now it's not connected to my Katana 750. And this one is a lithium-ion battery charger, which is connected to my Honda CBR600F here. So I keep them on trickle charge when they are being stored. And these three things you do before putting your motorcycle in storage, basically fresh tank of gasoline, added fuel stabilizer, and also trickle charging your battery, will pay off when it's time to start your motorcycle. Today, I took it out
of the garage and put it here, and it took me maybe about 30-40 seconds of cranking, a couple times, caught up, and then with full choke, and then once it started, it didn't stop. So once it warmed up, it was running fine, like I left it back in October into the garage. So now I'm going to start it up so you can see. It's kind of warm. It warmed up already before I start taking this video. In order to be able to take the video, I just zip tied the clutch so I can do one hand starting. So let's do it. And it starts. Now I'm going to let you listen to the exhaust noise. All the lights and signals work on this motorcycle. They work great. So the low beam, the high beam, back to low beam. The left signals. The right hand signals. Rear brake again, and I'm going to try to record the front brake. It's an unusually clean motorcycle for its age. I'm assuming that the previous owner or owners have not ridden this motorcycle in bad weather or in rain. So I'm just going to open the back side so you can see under the seat. It's very clean all around. It has its original Suzuki toolbox. And as you can see, not much rust or debris inside here. Original stickers still inside the fender. All the original stickers. This is showing the tire data. And here is the damping adjuster. So 3.6 soft, and then you pull it once. It's medium, and then all the way out hard. So you can adjust it to your liking for the streets you may have in your city, around your city. And also, if we look into the engine compartment, like no rust, it's quite clean. Looks like that's the starter motor. And you look through here again, quite clean behind the steering. And here from the other side. Overall, very clean bike. It can even be, collectible. It can be brought to collectible condition by just a little bit of, paint job over here and then the scratches and all that. But they don't bother me. I like riding like this because it's a commuter for me. If I have a chance in the next few months, I will make a riding video of this motorcycle. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching and take care.